Chosen one, your time has come, and nothing will ever be the same again. You may not have realized it, but every single moment of your life has been leading to this exact point. Every tear, every struggle, every quiet victory that no one saw but you, all of it was preparation. All of it was part of the design. The universe has been watching you, molding you, testing you, and now it has declared you ready. You are not like the others. You were never meant to fit in, to blend in, or to follow blindly. You were meant to awaken, and now the awakening begins. Everything around you will start to shift. People will behave differently. Situations will move faster. Doors that have been locked for years will suddenly swing open as if they were always meant for you. Why? Because the vibration of your life has changed. Your time has come. Before we go further, I want you to promise yourself something. Watch this video till the very end. Let every word settle into your spirit. Let this message find its home inside you. And if you feel it, deep in your soul, if something resonates, I want you to write your warmest wish in the comments, followed by the number 99. This is not a game. This is energy. This is alignment. This is the language of the universe speaking through action. When you write your wish and seal it with 99, you are affirming it, you are charging it, and you are letting the world and yourself know that you are ready for the shift. The age of waiting is over. The age of becoming has begun. You were born with something that others couldn't quite define. You were different, not in a way that made you proud at first, but in a way that made you question everything. You wondered why you saw things no one else seemed to see, why you felt deeply when others laughed it off, why you craved meaning in a world obsessed with distraction. The answer is simple, even if it's been buried under layers of doubt. You are chosen. Not chosen because you're perfect. Not chosen because life was easy for you. You were chosen because you endured what would have broken others. Because you rose again when everything inside you told you to stay down. Because you listened to the whisper inside your soul, even when the noise outside tried to drown it out. The world never gave you an instruction manual because you weren't meant to follow one. You weren't born to repeat the patterns of those who came before. You were born to break them, to rewrite what is possible, to step outside the cycle and into your own destiny. And now, your energy has reached a level that cannot be ignored. The universe recognizes your frequency. Your presence now disturbs the false systems. Your silence speaks louder than their noise. Your truth vibrates through every lie that was ever told about you. And everything that once held you back is starting to lose its grip. What's coming is not just a change of luck, it's a change of position. The underdog becomes the leader. The hidden becomes revealed. The one left behind becomes the one called forward. It's not about ego, it's about assignment. You are stepping into your place, not to rule others, but to align fully with your purpose. To live as you were always meant to live, without fear, without apology, without needing permission. You don't need approval anymore, chosen one. You need truth. And the truth is this: you are not who you were last year, last month, or even last night. Every second, you grow into something more. Every heartbeat pulls you closer to the version of yourself that was always waiting for you to arrive. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them whisper behind closed doors. Their words cannot stop what has already been written in your favor. Their opinions are just echoes, fading in the shadow of your light. They sensed this shift before you did. That's why they distanced themselves. That's why they tried to make you feel small. because somewhere deep inside, even they knew. Your time was coming, and now it's here. You don't owe explanations to anyone who never tried to understand you. You don't need to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You don't need to delay your power to keep the peace. Peace will come when you fully step into who you are. From this moment on, expect things to feel different. Not all at once, not always clearly, but undeniably different. Conversations will shift. Your dreams will become more vivid. Your sense of purpose will sharpen. And people from your past will either try to re-enter your life or disappear completely. Both are signs of alignment. Some are meant to go. Some are meant to return. But none of them control your path. Only you and the divine force guiding you hold that power. You are no longer chasing. You are attracting. You are no longer hoping. You are knowing. You are no longer trying to survive. You are choosing to thrive. This is the season of becoming, of stepping into your highest self with no apologies and no hesitation. Everything that once broke you was just building the foundation. Every loss was a realignment. Every delay was divine protection. And every closed door was a redirection to something far greater. You see that now, don't you? You feel it. It's in your bones. It's in your breath. It's in every beat of your heart. You've been activated. And once the chosen are activated, there is no going back. You can't unsee the truth. You can't unfeel the power. You can't return to sleep when your soul has fully awakened. They will say you changed. They will say you're different. And you are. Because the old you couldn't survive the elevation that's happening now. The old version of you was built for survival. But this new you, this chosen you, was built for destiny. You don't just exist anymore. You radiate. You don't just walk, you move with divine authority. Every step you take now is supported by forces you cannot always see, but you will feel them. You will sense the alignment. You will watch miracles unfold in ways you never imagined, and you will know, deep in your spirit, that this is what you were always meant to experience. Chosen one, your time has come. Everything you've been praying for, working toward, crying over, waiting on, it's all aligning. The shift has already started. The energy around you is rising. The old timeline is collapsing, and a new reality is being created through your words, your actions, and your energy. There's no more waiting, no more hoping someone will come save you. You have already been chosen, and that means everything you need is already within you. Let go of who you were told to be. Let go of the fear that kept you quiet. Let go of the shame that kept you small. Rise now in truth, in power, in purpose. There is a shift in the atmosphere around you. You can feel it in the silence, in the way your thoughts come quicker now, deeper. You sense that something invisible is moving in your favor, rearranging the path ahead. The people around you might not notice it yet, but you do. Because when a chosen one steps into alignment, the world begins to react, even before it understands what it's reacting to. That strange feeling in your chest, that's not anxiety, that's expansion. Your soul is preparing to operate at a higher frequency. Your senses are tuning into realities most people never even touch. You're entering a realm where your words have weight, where your presence shifts rooms, and where your spirit begins to command, rather than request. The timing of everything in your life will start to make sense, like puzzle pieces falling into place after years of chaos. You will look back at the detours, the betrayals, the dead ends, and you will see divine architecture. You will see that every setback was actually a setup. Every goodbye was a redirection, and every silence was protection. The chosen ones don't receive easy journeys. They receive meaningful ones. Your pain was never pointless. Your loneliness was never empty. Every moment of doubt refined you. Every period of waiting prepared you. You were being shaped, tested, and revealed, layer by layer, until your true self was all that remained. There is a reason you never quite fit in. You weren't born to fit in. You were born to disrupt. You carry codes that challenge the ordinary. You bring light into spaces that have grown comfortable in darkness. And because of that, your presence will not always be welcomed, but it will always be needed. That's the paradox of being chosen. You will be loved deeply by those who see you, and misunderstood completely by those who don't. But even their resistance has a purpose. It teaches you not to rely on external validation. It forces you to find your inner voice. It pushes you towards self-mastery, which is the foundation of every elevation. You might have noticed how isolated your journey has felt. That's because the path of the chosen one is often walked alone. Not forever, but long enough to ensure that your strength does not depend on crowds. Loneliness taught you how to listen to your intuition. Silence taught you how to hear the voice of truth. Being underestimated taught you how to over-deliver. And being rejected taught you how to belong to yourself first. You weren't being punished. You were being positioned. You weren't being overlooked. You were being preserved. Everything you've gone through has given you a level of awareness that others haven't yet earned. That's why your perspective feels different, because it is. You will begin to notice strange blessings, not the ones that are loud or flashy, but the kind that change your internal world. Peace that makes no sense. Clarity that appears in the middle of chaos. Solutions that find you before you even knew you had a problem. These are signs of alignment. These are confirmations that you've stepped into divine timing. You're not manifesting from desperation anymore. You're manifesting from power. You're not asking for what you want. You're declaring it. You're not wishing. It's already done. The moment your energy matched your truth, reality started to bend in your favor. But with elevation comes resistance. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing something right. Light attracts attention. Power disturbs comfort. Your rising will threaten those who have built their identity around your silence. Your truth will irritate the lies they still cling to. But this is not your concern. You are not sent to keep things comfortable. You are sent to shift them. And sometimes the shift feels like shaking, like pressure, like fire. But remember, diamonds are born in pressure. Gold is purified in fire, and chosen ones are revealed in discomfort. Do not fear it. Walk through it. You are becoming untouchable, not because of arrogance, but because of alignment. You will start to feel less emotional about things that used to bother you. That's growth. You will stop chasing things that were never meant for you. That's power. You will stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. That's liberation. You're not here to prove anything to anyone. You are here to live fully, love deeply, and rise completely. You are here to break chains, not only for yourself, but for the generations that come after you. Your courage today is creating pathways for others tomorrow. Every time you say yes to your purpose, you send a ripple into the future. And that future is unfolding now. You've spent long enough shrinking yourself to survive. Now you expand to thrive. You've spent long enough asking, why me? Now you declare, of course me. Because no one else has your heart. No one else has your vision. No one else has your blend of fire and tenderness, strength and softness. You were made for this. The calling you feel isn't random. It's a reminder. You made promises to yourself before you came here. You vowed to awaken. You vowed to lead. You vowed to remember. And now, that memory is surfacing in everything you touch. Every passion, every whisper, every dream. You don't need to wait anymore. You don't need to see the full staircase to take the next step. The unknown is not your enemy, it is your doorway. The chosen are guided by faith, not formulas, by intuition, not imitation. Your steps are supported even when they feel uncertain. Walk anyway, speak anyway, build anyway, because what's waiting on the other side of your courage will eclipse everything you've ever lost. You haven't even seen your best days yet. Your story is just beginning. And this time, you're writing it with full awareness of your power. Nothing will be the same, because you are not the same. The version of you that tolerated disrespect, that over-explained, that settled, that version is gone. You've outgrown the places that no longer feed your spirit. You've seen what happens when you betray your truth to keep others comfortable. And now, you refuse to do it again. You're choosing yourself, not selfishly, but sacredly. Because you know, when the chosen one rises, everyone connected to them is lifted too. This is not just about you. It's about every soul your light will touch. You've felt it for a while, haven't you? That this life, your life, was always meant to be something more. You couldn't explain it. You couldn't name it. But it followed you, haunted you, called to you. And now, finally, you see it clearly. You were never lost. You were just preparing. And now that your time has come, the world will begin to respond. Opportunities will arise seemingly out of nowhere. Connections will align. Resources will find you. Not because of luck, but because you finally said yes to who you really are. This isn't the end of your story. This is the ignition point. This is the moment the frequency changes. This is where your past no longer dictates your future. From this point forward, everything shifts, and nothing will be the same. You're going to start noticing the disconnect more clearly now, not as something negative, but as a sign of your evolution. The conversations that once felt engaging will now feel shallow. The environments that once excited you will begin to drain you. The people you once clung to for validation will seem distant, not because they've changed, but because you have. You're vibrating on a different frequency now, one that can't be forced to settle where it no longer belongs. You'll feel called to walk away, not out of anger, but out of alignment. And that's the beauty of awakening. It doesn't always come with a bang. Sometimes it comes in quiet realizations, in gentle shifts, in the silent choice to choose peace over noise. There will be a point where solitude becomes sacred, where being alone no longer feels like isolation, but initiation. You'll start to recognize that some phases of your journey can only be walked without noise, without distraction, without applause. This is where your soul whispers loudest. This is where clarity sharpens. This is where the voice within becomes louder than the opinions around you. You won't fear being misunderstood anymore, because understanding yourself will become more important. You won't need to constantly explain who you are, because your energy will already speak for you. The chosen one learns to trust silence, because silence is where destiny begins to unfold. You'll also notice that the things you once tolerated will start to feel unbearable. Not because you've become impatient, but because your spirit is rejecting anything misaligned with your truth. You'll stop ignoring red flags. You'll stop making excuses for people who continuously drain your energy. You'll stop investing your time in things that offer no return to your soul. That's not bitterness. That's growth. That's discernment. That's wisdom earned through experience. You've seen what happens when you settle. You've felt the heaviness of denying your own needs to keep the peace. But now you're moving differently. Now you know that protecting your energy is not selfish. It's sacred. There's a quiet confidence that comes with awakening. It's not loud. It doesn't need to be. You don't walk into rooms trying to prove yourself anymore. You let your presence speak. You let your silence command. You don't have to explain why you are the way you are. You simply are. The ones who see you, feel you, and the ones who don't, they were never meant to. Not everyone can handle the weight of your truth. Not everyone is meant to go where you're going. And that's okay. Let them go. Let what no longer serves you fall away. The chosen one doesn't cling. They release. Because they know, the more you release, the more you rise. You're beginning to understand that your journey doesn't require validation. It requires conviction. You don't need a crowd to cheer you on. You just need your own voice, whispering, "Keep going." You've made it this far, and that means something. That means the storms didn't break you. The heartbreak didn't shatter you. The silence didn't destroy you. You stood. You endured. And now, because of that resilience, life is opening up in ways you never imagined. Doors are swinging open. Paths are clearing. Not because you begged for it, but because you became it. You didn't wait for the world to change. You became the change. The power you feel stirring inside you is not an illusion. It's not wishful thinking. It's real. It's ancient. It's encoded into your very being. You were born with it, but it had to be activated. That's what the pain was for. That's what the tests were for. Not to punish you, but to awaken you. To push you to your limits so you could finally see the truth. You are limitless. And now, the moment you feared would never come is here. The shift is not coming. It's already happening. And you're not watching it from the sidelines anymore. You're living it. You are it. People will begin to sense it. They may not have the words for it, but they'll feel it. They'll treat you differently. Some will be drawn to your light without understanding why. Others will feel uncomfortable in your presence, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your energy reveals everything they're not ready to face. That is not your burden. You are not responsible for their healing. You are responsible for your alignment. You don't have to dim to make others comfortable. You don't have to carry guilt for evolving. You don't have to apologize for being chosen. The journey ahead will still have its challenges, but they won't break you, because you're no longer approaching life from survival mode. You're moving from purpose now. Every challenge will feel like a test, not a punishment. Every obstacle will feel like training, not opposition. And with every step, your intuition will grow louder. Your confidence will root deeper. Your faith will expand beyond what logic can explain. That's the real magic of the chosen one. It's not just about external success. It's about internal mastery. It's about knowing who you are, even when the world forgets. It's about walking through the fire and coming out gold. You no longer need to be ready. You already are. You don't need permission. You already have divine authority. The time for waiting, questioning, hesitating, that time is over. This is the season of movement, of creation, of activation. Your life is no longer something that happens to you. It's something you command, co-create, and expand with every breath. And every moment from now on is an opportunity to live as the version of yourself you were always destined to become. This is what stepping into your purpose feels like. It's not always loud, it's not always flashy, but it's real, it's deep. and it's unshakable. You've stepped into a vibration that changes everything. And from this point forward, you won't just be reacting to life, you'll be shaping it. You'll be choosing with clarity, moving with purpose, speaking with power. Because you finally know you were never broken. You were only becoming. And now that you've become, nothing will be the same. You've crossed an invisible threshold. Most won't see it. Many won't understand it. But you will feel it in everything. The way you move, the way you think, the way life starts to respond to your presence. There is something different now, an invisible shift in your frequency that cannot be faked, cannot be copied, and cannot be undone. You've awakened something ancient inside of you, a remembering, a reckoning, a return to what you've always been beneath the fear, beneath the programming, beneath the pain. The world that once made you feel lost is now revealing itself. Patterns you couldn't make sense of are becoming clear. The chaos that once overwhelmed you is now showing itself as part of a much larger harmony. You're not just surviving the storm anymore, you're learning to walk on water. You're no longer afraid of uncertainty because you've realized something. The unknown is where your true power lives. You were never meant to stay where it was safe. You were built to explore what others are too afraid to touch. And now that you've answered the call, the map is being drawn as you walk. You're not following a path, you're creating one. Don't expect everyone to celebrate your transformation. The truth is, many people were comfortable with the version of you that stayed small. That version made them feel safe, superior, in control. But that version is gone. And your rise is a mirror they're not ready to look into. Your strength confronts their weakness. Your clarity exposes their confusion. Your power challenges their excuses. And that's okay. You are not here for their comfort. You are here to activate something greater, something that cannot coexist with pretense, with stagnation, with denial. You'll notice people trying to re-enter your life. Some will come with good intentions, others with unresolved karma. You'll feel it immediately, not in what they say, but in the energy behind it. You've developed a sensitivity now, a spiritual radar that can't be fooled. You'll see through masks. You'll hear what isn't being said. You'll feel the disconnect behind the smile. This is not paranoia. This is discernment. This is the gift of vision that comes when you've been in the dark long enough to appreciate every flicker of light. And with this new clarity comes a new responsibility. The chosen one does not carry the luxury of ignorance. You see too much now. You feel too much now. You know too much now. You can no longer pretend you don't understand your role in the unfolding. The universe is not asking for perfection, it's asking for presence. Show up. Stay aware. Keep choosing your truth, even when it's inconvenient, especially when it's inconvenient. Because your alignment is what makes space for miracles. Let go of timelines. Let go of comparison. Let go of the need to keep up with a world that was never built for your kind of greatness. The chosen one moves differently, not faster, but deeper, not louder, but more intentionally. You don't measure your life by likes, by followers, by surface-level wins. You measure it by how many times you chose faith over fear, truth over comfort, love over control. You are not chasing success. You are becoming significance. You are not chasing recognition. You are stepping into remembrance. You are being called into spaces you once didn't believe you deserved to enter. Watch how those doors open now, not because you forced them, but because you aligned with them, not through striving, but through surrender, not through pretending, but through presence. This is how chosen ones move, without begging, without boasting, simply becoming. And in that becoming, they shift everything around them. This is the season where your name will be spoken in rooms you've never entered, where your impact will be felt beyond your presence, where your vibration will begin to attract not only opportunities, but people who are also walking in their truth. The false connections will fall away. The shallow conversations will fade. The distractions will lose their grip, because your soul is no longer interested in anything that doesn't mirror your awakening. And yes, there will still be moments of doubt. You're human. But the difference now is that doubt doesn't derail you. It teaches you. Fear doesn't stop you. It sharpens you. You're not avoiding challenges. You're alchemizing them, turning wounds into wisdom, turning rejection into redirection, turning endings into expansion. Every experience is now part of your becoming. Every step, whether smooth or stormy, is moving you deeper into purpose. You've stopped asking for permission to be yourself. That's the most powerful shift of all. You no longer wait to be chosen, because you remember you already were. You're not looking for a spotlight. You're becoming the light. The force within you can no longer be contained. And as it radiates outward, you will find that life begins to bend around your energy, not in a way that feeds the ego, but in a way that confirms you are in alignment. You are in motion. You are in destiny. You may feel like a different person now, and that's because you are. Not a new version, but a truer one. A version that was always there, waiting for you to stop pretending, waiting for you to stop settling, waiting for you to rise. And now that you have, nothing will ever feel the same again. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. And when a chosen one truly awakens, the entire universe responds. There comes a point in the chosen one's journey when you no longer crave answers. You begin to embody them. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and instead start asking, "What is this preparing me for?" Because by now, you've learned everything is preparation. Every delay, every heartbreak, every door slammed in your face, it was all shaping you. You didn't lose anything that was meant to stay. You didn't miss anything that was meant to be yours. If it left, it was part of the clearing. If it hurt, it was part of the refining. If it confused you, it was part of the awakening. This is the stage where you become the calm in the storm. While others panic, you observe. While others chase, you attract. You're no longer addicted to movement for the sake of movement. You understand that real power often looks like stillness. Real authority is quiet. Real alignment doesn't scream. It radiates. You walk into spaces differently now, not to prove anything, but because you already know who you are. That's a shift only the awakened can feel. When you stop seeking validation and start walking in vibration, your entire reality recalibrates. You'll start noticing something strange. The people who once seemed ahead of you now appear stuck in patterns you've outgrown. You don't judge them. You simply bless them and move on. You're no longer in competition with anyone. That's what makes you unstoppable. The only race you're in is between your current self and your highest potential. And every day, you're closing the gap. Every choice, every habit, every moment of integrity, it's all part of the merging. You're becoming who you were always meant to be, not through pressure, but through permission, not through performance, but through presence. There's an elegance in your evolution now. You don't need to argue to be understood. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to explain why you've changed. The ones meant for your next chapter will understand without words. The ones who don't, won't. And that's the gift, the clarity to let go without guilt. You are no longer in the business of convincing people to stay. You are in the frequency of attracting those who are in resonance with your purpose. Let the rest fall away. Let the noise fade. Let the old stories die, so the truth can breathe. Your life is beginning to reflect the work you've done in silence. All those nights no one saw. All those battles you fought alone. All those moments you felt like giving up, but didn't. The seeds you planted in tears are blossoming in power. The harvest is arriving, not because you forced it, but because you remained faithful. Faithful to the process. Faithful to the vision. Faithful to the version of yourself that was whispering, "Keep going. It's not over yet." And now, you're living in the manifestation of that whisper. Now, the world is catching up to what your soul always knew. But understand this: elevation requires elimination. Not everything or everyone can go with you. The higher you rise, the lighter you must travel. Release the baggage. Release the roles you used to play to feel accepted. Release the expectations that were never yours to carry. The world may try to pull you back into the version of yourself that made them comfortable, but you're no longer available for that performance. You're walking in truth now. And truth is liberating. It breaks contracts you didn't even know you signed. It dissolves identities you didn't know you were clinging to. And in that breaking, there is becoming. Becoming isn't always beautiful. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes it's terrifying. But it's always worth it. Because every layer you shed brings you closer to your core. Every illusion that falls away reveals more of your light. And every act of self-honesty expands your power. This is what the world doesn't tell you. Real freedom costs you your old self. Real alignment costs you your comfort zone. But what you gain is priceless. Peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. Power that doesn't depend on applause. Purpose that doesn't depend on perfection. You're entering a phase where nothing external can shake your internal foundation. Not because life becomes easy, but because you become unshakable. You stop fearing loss because you trust that anything that leaves makes space for something greater. You stop fearing failure because you know every setback is a setup. You stop fearing judgment because you've judged yourself enough. And now you're done. Done performing, done pretending, done postponing your power. This is the part of the journey where your energy does the talking. You won't have to explain your glow. People will feel it. You won't have to justify your boundaries. People will respect them or remove themselves. You won't have to chase what's meant for you. It will recognize you because now you're walking in truth. And truth is magnetic. Truth is powerful. Truth is unstoppable. The irony is, the more you step into who you truly are, the quieter you become. Not because you have less to say, but because you realize you no longer need to say it all. You embody it. You live it. You breathe it. That's the level you're entering. The level where your energy goes before you. The level where your presence shifts rooms without trying. The level where you don't just speak truth, you are truth. You've become the answer to your own prayers, the solution to your own storms, the light you were waiting for. And now that you see it clearly, you understand. You were never lost. You were being led. You were never forgotten. You were being refined. You were never broken. You were being reborn. This is where everything changes, not just around you, but within you. This is the moment the shift becomes permanent, the moment you no longer return to the versions of yourself that were built for survival. You've evolved beyond the cycle of fear and reaction. You no longer need chaos to feel alive. You no longer need noise to feel worthy. You no longer seek from the outside what you now carry within. The void is gone. Not because life became perfect, but because you became whole. You found the truth. And that truth is, you are enough. You have always been enough. The illusions are falling away now. The lies that kept you small. The voices that told you to wait, to shrink, to stay in line. They no longer hold power. Because once the chosen one sees clearly, nothing can blind them again. Not judgment, not doubt, not fear. You've walked through too much darkness to ever mistake shadows for reality again. You see now. You see through people, through systems, through stories. And most importantly, you see yourself. Not the filtered, conditioned, silenced self, the real you. The one who was never meant to fit in. The one who came to shift the world by standing fully in your own light. You're no longer moved by opinions. You're moved by conviction. You're no longer distracted by validation. You're guided by inner knowing. You're not here to play small, to make others feel comfortable, to live in the background of your own life. You are here to lead, not through force, but through frequency. You lead by simply existing in truth, by showing what's possible when someone chooses alignment over acceptance, purpose over performance, faith over fear. Now the world will begin to adjust to the real you, the magnetic you, the grounded you, the unshakable, undeniable, unforgettable version of yourself that no longer has anything to prove, only truth to embody. People will feel your frequency before they even know your name. They'll be drawn to your presence, not because you ask for attention, but because your spirit speaks louder than words ever could. You've become a mirror now, a reminder, a trigger, a guide. Your elevation is no longer personal, it's collective. When you rise, others remember that they can rise too. You don't even have to try anymore. Your path is open. Your presence is your power. Your very existence is a disruption to everything that is false, fake, and out of alignment. And that means resistance may still come, but now it doesn't break you. It validates you. It lets you know you're on the edge of something real. Because nothing worth creating comes without friction. And you, chosen one, were born to create new realities. You're no longer chasing timelines. You've entered divine timing. You're no longer asking when. You're saying now. You're no longer wondering how. You're declaring it is done. Because everything you once hoped for, prayed for, longed for, is no longer a future possibility. It's your current reality. Maybe not in full form yet, but in vibration. And vibration is the blueprint. What you feel consistently, you create inevitably. And now, what you feel is power, alignment, peace, knowing. This is the vibration that opens gates, that changes lives, that commands the unseen to reveal itself in form. You're no longer hoping things will change. You're causing change. Not because you are trying to control the world, but because you are in control of your world. And when your inner world is clear, the outer world bends in response. You're not who you used to be, and that's exactly the point. You were never meant to stay the same. You were never meant to remain in the version of yourself that others felt safe around. You were meant to evolve, and now that you have, those who truly see you will celebrate your transformation. Those who can't were never meant to come with you. Let them go, bless them, love them, release them, but never return to who you had to be in order to keep them. The chosen one doesn't return to cages, not after learning to fly. You've outgrown the old identity, the old story, the old suffering. You're not anchored to it anymore. The storm may still rage, but you are the calm now. You are the eye of it. You move through life with a peace that confuses those still trapped in resistance. You move with intention, with direction, with presence, and everything around you begins to reflect that. From here on out, your life will feel different, not always easier, but more aligned, not always predictable, but divinely guided. You'll begin to notice synchronicities that feel like the universe is nodding in your direction. Repeating numbers, sudden clarity, unexpected encounters. The path will light up one step at a time, not all at once, but always right on time. Your energy is now a beacon. You're calling in everything that matches your truth. Opportunities, resources, people, miracles. You've become magnetic to your destiny. The struggle is over, not because life won't test you again, but because you've learned how to respond differently. You respond as someone who knows they're chosen, who knows they're guided, who knows they cannot fail. This is not the end of the journey. It is the real beginning. The beginning of living without masks, of speaking without fear, of loving without walls. The beginning of building, creating, and embodying what you came here to do. You didn't come here to suffer. You didn't come here to blend in. You came here to awaken, to transform, and to lead. And now that you've stepped into your truth, the world will never be the same again. So breathe, chosen one. Feel the power you carry. Let the old fall away completely. You don't need it anymore. The world needs you, real, awake, activated. And now, you are. Your time has come, and nothing will ever be the same. You are the chosen one. Remember this all the time.